Hi everyone, this is Ocean Spirit Tarot. Tonight I'm going to do a read for the collective. The energy has been pretty crazy lately, so I really been feeling it in a lot of my readings that I've been doing lately. You've had a massive level up. So, I'm going to tarot at the bottom. So I feel like you've done a lot of work on yourself, you've had a few things from the past that have come back to kind of stir up feelings or to see what you haven't healed. And I feel as though you then have been shown what you won't put up with anymore. So let's just have a read. Let's see what comes out. But I know even for myself, that's why I haven't been doing many readings. It has, not on YouTube anyway, that it's been a massive sort of challenge and time. Chariot, and Chariot wanted to bend. And Lord Justice. She has constantly been coming up for the last couple of weeks. And justice comes out when the scales need to be leveled back out again. Got 3 of Cups. You got 3 of Cups, along with the Ace of Pentacles. And the Knight of Pentacles, slow moving. And we have the Star at the bottom. Definitely something from your past has come back. Someone sees value, sees the connection as different. There's a lot of fighting going on their side, but a lot of reminiscing as well of what they had with you and the love that they didn't show. They didn't sort of reciprocate the love that you gave. It's really made them sit back and look at things and look at what they done. Definitely coming up with a lot of shadow side. It's definitely a King of Wands. Someone that likes to have it their way, but they're wanting a new beginning. Been saying that, they're up in their head. So they're in 2 minds. I just wanted to sort of, that's the storyline of what I get. So the Chariot, it's fast moving, things moving fast. It's definitely something that is a divine connection, but there was also interference. And this could have been someone from their past, someone that they might have been with for a long time before you guys met, that I've had lately that they played a lot of manipulative games. They really their connection wasn't very good. It was a lot of drinking, a lot of drugs, a lot of, not very good behavior, and they constantly would split up. There's a lot of cheating, a lot of lying in their relationship. And they met you and they didn't expect to sort of have that soul recognition that you guys did. But they definitely wanted to come through and give you something. They're very slow about it. And that's where we see that 8 of Swords. Like, they're definitely, their fear and their anxiety gets to them. And I think the biggest fear is feeling rejected. Good. 10 of Swords at the bottom. Yeah, I keep getting that when you guys broke up and things didn't go very well, they went back to the past. They went back to what was familiar to them. and went back to, that's where that shadow side is as well, where they went back to them toxic traits, them toxic patterns, to try and distract themselves of how they felt. But I think it just made them realize the difference between you and their ex, and I think their ex could see it. I think even when you guys were together, people could see the difference of how they were with you compared to other people, and even compared to their ex. I get a lot of comparing, which you can see that in the Chariot as well, the light and the dark. These were polar opposites. All right, let's see. What do we have for the Chariot? Let's clarify the Chariot. Got the King of Swords. A lot of truth coming through. And a lot of that, I feel like they have come back for, like they have come forward, they have come back. And I think that's where you have realized how much you have grown yourself, and that you're not, look, King of Cups, you're putting that love into yourself now. You're not going to accept any bad behavior, and you're not going to accept anything that is less than or breadcrumbs. You want, if they're going to come forward, they've got to come forward right. And look, 8 of Swords. It is, isn't it? Yeah. That's their wanting to tell their truth, wanting to tell you how they really feel. But as well, they're up in their head. That fear gets to them. And that's why they want to come in fast and impulsive. And with that Aries energy that is around at the moment, along with as well the Scorpio, that is that deep emotion with this Scorpio full moon, it's really wanting to speak how they really feel, but they get in their head and they question themselves. The fear, I think, gets to them more so, and it stops them. I think it freezes them. It sort of, there you all go. Hang on. Alright. Trying to press the pause button. I'm pressing the wrong button. Anyway, we've got the 7 of Cups. That's clarifying the 3 of Cups. We have Justice. The 8 of Cups. Along with the 4 of Swords. The 7 of Cups, you know, a lot of the time it can be to do with like a lot of different options, a lot of different people, and pairing it with the 3 of Cups, it is that their connection that they had before was very much so in and out. It was more a codependency. It wasn't really a relationship. And they just broke up so many times that then they'd go off with other people. And I don't think it was just them. I think it was their ex as well. And that's just how they expected relationships to be. But they always kind of come back together. But I don't think they ever really come back together as anything. It was more like a friendship. Wasn't really any love. And that's funny that I say that because there's so many cups. But it's, you know, Justice is all about truth, isn't it? Like, and having the 4 of Swords with the 8 of Cups, like I feel like the 8 of Cups is sort of what they had with you, and that actual fulfillment and a proper love and a proper relationship. And that's where they're up in their head. They've sort of, I think Justice has come through and showed them, and I think that's when they went back. When you guys broke up and they went back to the past, they actually really seen the difference. And I don't think anyone had really been able to show them that difference before, because I think they're just so used to having the same kind of people around them all the time that it was sort of just pick the best of the worst sort of thing. But Now that they've seen, I feel like, the truth, and that's where justice comes in. They've actually seen the difference. You can't go back, you can't unsee it once you've seen it. And I think their biggest fear is if they can really change. I think they want to, but if they really can. I think you have put your foot down. Like, that's why they're coming in with, they want to bring in something. They want to bring you an offer. They want to speak their truth. But I think they're afraid, really, as well, of what you will, you know, whether you accept them, whether their biggest fear is losing you and losing what you've had. I think they want back what you've had. But sometimes you can't go back to repeat things of what you had in the past, because it just doesn't work like that. You got to start fresh, and you got to be honest and start from a clean slate. And I feel as though their biggest fear is to lose you, but as well of being rejected. I think they really fear abandonment, and that's why they always have to have somebody next. They always have to have somebody else lined up to jump to, because they can't be on their own and they can't be within their own thoughts. I think it scares them too much. I've got the Hierophant at the bottom. Definitely a soul connection that you both have. We've got the Three of Cups that's come out, and that's the Three of Cups again, and that's clarifying the Ace of Pentacles. They're wanting to come through with something, you know, small, but they're wanting to as well, like something stable. They're wanting to build. They want to take their time, but they don't want to ruin things. They don't want to say the wrong thing. They definitely want that stability, but something that they've never had before, but it scares them at the same time. And I think that's this person's biggest problem, is that they let their fear get in the way of what they really want. It's always easy to go for people that you don't really have a connection with, or you don't really feel much, because it's easier then just to walk away. But when you actually really feel for somebody, and you have like a lot of love for somebody, and you have that strong connection, it's hard, because you want to open up and you want to express yourself, and you've got to as well. But when you're around people that don't really interest you too much, and it's just there for a bit of fun, you don't really have to be vulnerable. You don't really have to open up. Look, Queen of Swords. They know that you're not going to accept anything little. They know that you're not going to accept the bare minimum. They know that you're not going to accept breadcrumbs anymore, and the in and out cold energy. They see you in your power now. They see how much you've changed, how much you've leveled up, and how much respect that you've got for yourself now. I think when you were together before, you weren't in the best of places, and things have changed now. You've done a lot of work on yourself, and you've probably worked on a lot of your shadow side as well, which helps level you up into that next level, next timeline of better things to come, because you're not repeating that cycle anymore. And I think that's where they know that you're not going to go around. They can't do what they've done before, because you're not going to accept it. You do intimidate them, that's for sure. You've got the Wheel of Fortune. That's a new cycle starting, and, you know, a karmic cycle ending. It's a new timeline, change with a lot more stability. Knight of Pentacles. I think if this person can get out of their head and stop overthinking things so much, and just come forward and go with the flow of how they really feel, and not be so scared of being hurt. Look, Lovers at the bottom. That's a true connection. That's a divine connection. That's a strong soul tie. And you had the Hermit that jumped out as well. They've really seen the difference, but they're definitely manifesting you, and they're trying to. I think they can feel the difference in you, and the fact that you don't chase no more. You're not over giving to them anymore. You've changed, and that's where I think it's really made them go within and really look at themselves. They definitely know, but if they haven't spoken it, they definitely know. You just have that bond, you just have that soul connection. And you don't always have to shut someone out of your life, but you have to put boundaries up, and you have to, because when you do have a strong soul connection, it is hard, because you do have a lot of love for them, and it is strong. And look, 5 of Cups. And that blue is standing out, wanting to speak that truth. Ugh, Chariot again. They're trying not to be impulsive. They're trying not to come in fast and, you know, like how they probably used to. Very impulsive in what they would say. Very impulsive in their moves and what they would do. They're trying to... They want to come in like that, but the Knight of Pentacles shows that it's a slow moving. Like they're more thinking about things, and that's where the Hermit comes into it. They're more thinking about things and taking things slower, because they don't want to rush in and ruin things. They want it to be stable. They want it to be... They still want that, what it used to be, but at the same time, they don't want to be rushed and impulsive. They want to heal a bit as well, so they can show that they have grown. And that's what the Hermit's trying to say as well. Like, they're thinking about things a little bit more. They're being a little bit more logic about things, and they, at the same time, they are healing themselves as well. Five of Cups with the Nine of Swords underneath. That's that anxiety and that fear, that round and round in their head. But it is coming to an end. They are starting to balance themselves out and starting to sort of ground themselves and not be such a frantic energy and so much in their head. Because they really want to bring that Ace of Cups. Like, that's that new love. They want that new beginning and that new connection. They want that with you. Because they see you as a stable, beautiful. But they see your independence as well, and that's what they know, that you don't need them anymore. And there's the Six of Cups. That's that remembering things of the past, that nostalgic energy. The Ten of Wands, they've had enough of carrying the burdens. I think they've had enough of this past connection too that keeps on trying to interfere and come between you both, because judgment's definitely come down. They've seen this person for their toxic patterns and for the way that they are. They've seen the lies, the deception that they hide behind. And I said that for a while now, that people that wear a mask, it's not going to last any longer. Like, their mask will fall. And that's the Ten of Cups. Well, with the Eight of Coins, they want that love and they want that stability, but as well, they want it to be stable. With the High Priestess, that's that strong, like, soul bind connection. Wow. Let's pull a few more cards and we'll see what else the universe has to say. We've got the Ace of Swords with the Sun. Ace of Swords, that clarity, that truth. They know that if they want things to work, there's got to be on, they've got to speak their truth. They've definitely got clarity, but, and that's the Sun. That's that happiness and that joy. They want things to work out. But as well, the Sun is, the 9 is the and it's the completion of a karmic cycle, and the 1 is the beginning of a new. Look, they're Two of Swords. They're in their head. They don't want to choose wrong. They don't, and that's not choosing between two people. That's just them. They don't want to come forward and you know, sort of say, yes, I can do this, I can change, I can be the person that you want me to be, and then them not be able to live up to that. They're scared of disappointing you, and they're scared of not being able to change. The moment that emotional trigger hits, that they go off and they go find someone else to distract them, or they take off so they don't, before they get hurt kind of energy. You know what I mean? Like, they don't want to disappoint. But at the same time, they know that they want to come forward. They know that you're their happiness and you're where their happiness is. And look, Seven of Cups. That's how they're worried about their past, and they put up that illusion. They're worried that they're going to fall back and their old patterns are going to come back the moment that something triggers them. A lot of people that are like that is they've got a wound and they've got something that has hurt them in the past, and the moment that gets triggered, that emotional wound, and that's what brings out the fear and that abandonment as well, of not being enough, not sort of you leaving them, and I don't think they could really cope with that. There's the Two of Cups. That's that soul connection that you've both got. It even says soulmate on there. That's what they really want. But this is what scares them. The fact of not being able to change. Look, the Chariot again. With the Ten of Swords. Done. It's over. Their defeat. Like, they know that this connection is done, especially of the old cycle, and they know that if they want to start again and they want something back with you, and if they want that Two of Cups, they know that it has to be different compared to how it was before. They can't come in the same way, and they can't do the same things as what they done before, by breadcrumbing, hot and cold, and just not opening up emotionally and telling how they really feel. Always sort of going quiet, and then the lies. They know that they can't do that, and they know that if they do, they will lose you. And I think they know this time that they'll lose you for good, and that's what scares them the most. So I think that's where they get in their head of, do I come forward, do I say how I really feel, because I don't want to be hurt, I don't want to be rejected, but at the same time, they don't think that they're changed, or they're not changed, but they haven't healed enough to really come forward and make things work. I think if they relaxed a little bit and they went with you and they sort of, you know, followed your lead a little bit, they probably would realize that you're nothing like the people that they've ever been around, and that you're not going to hurt them, especially if you go into it as a new connection and something new. That I think you'd help them heal. Good Judgment, Page of Cups, ooh, you got the Ace of Cups at the bottom too. That's that new start, new connection, that loftus that comes from the mud and comes out beautiful and bright. Judgment, I just feel like that's where they need to let go of the fear. They need to let go of the fear, and they need to work on the hurt that's happened to them in their past. And I think that you could help them with that. I think they have opened up previously in the past, and you haven't judged. You have been open and honest, and I think they know that you could really help them. But you can see even with the Judgment card, you know, him there with the birds flying around his head, that he just, it's that anxiety that just keeps coming back. They definitely want to come through and offer something, because I'm pretty sure that's the second or third Page of Cups that we've had. It's all in their head. They're just thinking about it at the moment. Like, it's all in their head. They just, that fear just paralyzes them. That anxiety. And the moment that I feel like they come forward and they start talking and they get close to you and they can really feel that connection with you and the amount of love that they have, I just feel like then they get scared and they retreat and they go cold. But that's Ace of Cups, new beginning. It's that emotional awakening, and I feel like they have had that. They've definitely had that from when they went back to the past. They went back to the past and that's what really showed them that you are the one that they want to be with. You are the sort of person, and the way you are and how you hold yourself is someone that they could build a life with. They know that you would, I think they really know that you wouldn't hurt them. But that doesn't take away from the wound that they've got or the fear that they've got. Got Nine of Pentacles, but you're definitely who they want to come towards, and it's who that they're always thinking about. But there's Temperance again. They're trying to heal. They're trying to keep himself balanced. Yeah, they got... I feel like they really need to clear out their life. There's an ex that keeps on, as much as they trying to get them out of their life, they keep reinserting themselves again. They keep on trying to sort of get something from them, some sort of acknowledgement, some sort of attention from them like they used to. I think they realise, the ex, that they're not getting anywhere. I think they realise that this person has changed. But yeah, look, you got the Six of Wands. It's passionate and fiery. You know, they want to come forward. They want this to be, they want to reunite, if I can get my words out. And they want it to be successful because they see you as the Queen of Pentacles. You know, you're stable, you're grounded, but then you have your independence and you know where you want to go and what you want. Page of Pentacles, but there's the clarity, like they see that, they acknowledge that, and they know that that's the right path that they're meant to go. But you got that Tower that just, the Tower just comes down. It takes out everything from underneath you that doesn't belong. And I think this is what's really happened to them, and that's what's bring out the connection. That's what's made them realize, like, the Tower has shook everything that didn't belong in their life. And that's what's made them really sit and see that this connection, it is sacred. It is something that the universe gave to them. Like, I think they asked for this. They asked for someone like you. And then they got it, and it scared the shit out of them. But then, you know, you got the Knight of Pentacles. He was in there before, just slow and moving, thinking about things. But then you got the illusions. That's our shadow. That's that wounds that they need to work on, that they need to heal. Oh, wanting balance. They know that they have to give. They can't keep taking and taking like they used to. I think you used to overgive a lot. You used to sort of mother them, or, you know, father them, however you want to put it. But, you know, you used to always be there for them and help them, and they never really gave much back. But I feel like they know this time that they have to give. It's an equal give and take. You've got the Ace of Wands, and that's that passionate new beginning. Very, very attractive, that's for sure. Then you got the Ten of Wands. They've had enough of the burden and carrying the stress and the anxiety. They feel burnt out emotionally from it all. But look, it goes straight back to the swords. Alright, I think I'm going to leave that there tonight. Look, Empress. That's where they want to go. And look, Justice is even back out the scales. I think that if they stop getting in their head as much as what they are, and they actually let themselves be happy, because I really think they think that they don't deserve to be happy. I think they know that you wouldn't hurt them, and I think they do feel safe when it comes to you. But I think that's what scares them the most, because I don't think they've ever felt that before. And they know that if they feel safe and they let themselves be open emotionally, they feel vulnerable, which then scares them even more and makes them want to run. Because I think they've kept themselves closed off for so long. But to tell you the truth, I think you'd be able to help them. You'd be able to heal them if they'd let themselves and open up that heart chakra and let themselves love and be loved. I think that they would realize that this connection would actually really heal them old wounds. But I'm going to leave that there for tonight. I hope you've enjoyed. Bye.